While we often focus discussions of healthcare delivery on the people and the facilities or institutions that deliver healthcare, another important area to take note of is all the products and equipment that play a role in healthcare delivery. Let's get a broad overview of products and regulations that fit in this area, and then pay particular attention to drugs, which get a lot of attention these days. There are quite a few different kinds of products and equipment out there made by many different companies. These include devices used in medical care, from basic things like tongue depressors to much more complex things like heart pacemakers or surgical implants, artificial hip joints that may be implanted in patients, for example, or prosthetics. Products can include imaging equipment like X-ray machines, CT scanners, MRI machines. There are biologic products like blood or blood products for transfusions, vaccines, gene therapy products, and others. And of course, there are drugs. Now, most products or equipment used in medical care are regulated. One can't just go make medical devices or biologics or drugs and go out and sell them or otherwise use them in patients. You need to get regulatory approval. In the U.S., the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, is the main government agency overseeing this area, and pretty much any of the things we've been discussing would need FDA approval to be used in medical care in the U.S. So then there are a variety of approval processes out there, each different and designed for each area or type of product. Some easier, some harder, each with their own nuances. If you have specific interests in products or product areas, it's important to figure out the particular issues that apply in specific cases. Drugs fit within this structure. A little definition may be useful to start with here. Taking some language from the US FDA, we'll say drugs are substances intended for use in the diagnosis, treatment, mitigation, cure, or prevention of disease. You'll also hear terms like medicines or pharmaceutical products, and often they'll mean the same thing. Drugs are distinguished from other things, for example, from food or dietary supplements, and there can be some interesting definitional issues around the edges that sometimes you need to pay attention to if you're sorting out the regulations. Within the set of drugs, there are two main groups that are delineated, what we'll call prescription drugs and over-the-counter drugs. Prescription drugs are those where there has been a determination that they should only be used in consultation with physicians or other appropriately licensed medical professionals, and so they'll require a prescription from a professional to get and use. These will also generally only be sold through pharmacies. Over-the-counter drugs, on the other hand, are ones that do not require a doctor's prescription to get and can be bought from a wider range of stores, including pharmacies, but also other places as well. Generally, you can buy them right off the store shelf or over the store counter, hence the name. Sometimes people use the acronym OTC for these, over-the-counter. As a generalization, OTC drugs treat conditions that are easier to self-diagnose, like headaches or colds. They're less potent, and they're less likely to be misused. Though, of course, there can still be issues that come up with OTC drugs, too. From an approval and regulatory process standpoint, both prescription drugs and OTC drugs are regulated, but the processes are different. The process for prescription drugs is more involved, and prescription drugs have gotten a lot of attention lately. So that's one area that can be particularly interesting to investigate and keep our eye on.